Find the midpoint of -10, -20, and 16, 30. So we have the coordinates of 2 points, and they're asking us to find the midpoint. So a midpoint is a point that's in the middle of a line segment. And these 2 points, or the coordinates of these 2 points, are going to be representing the endpoints. So if you want to get an idea visually what's going on, we have 2 points. We don't know where, I don't have the graph in front of me, so I'm just drawing a quick sketch. But let's just say this is -10, -20, and this is 16, 30. We're trying to find the location of the midpoint. So the midpoint is a point here and located in the middle such that the distance from this point to this point is going to be congruent to the distance from this point to this point. So we just need to know what is the location of this point here. So here's one way we can do that. So I'm going to write down -10, -20, and this is one of the endpoints. So I'm just going to say this is endpoint number 1. Then the other point I was given is 16, 30, and I'm going to call that one endpoint number 2. So E with the subscript 1, E with the subscript 2. All this is saying is this is my first endpoint, here's my second endpoint. So I have a total of 2 endpoints, and what I'm looking for is the coordinates of the midpoint. So what is the midpoint? So in order to do this without a graph, what you're going to do is you're going to average out the 2 x values, find the average of those, and what you're doing when you're finding the average of 2 numbers, you're finding the middle. So in order to average out these x values, I'm going to add them together. So -10 plus 16, and I'm going to divide that by 2. Then I'm going to simplify. -10 plus 16, I get a total of 6 over 2, and that reduces to 3. So the average of -10 and 16 is 3. In other words, the middle of these 2 numbers would be 3. So that's what the average helps you find, the location of the middle of those 2 numbers. And then I repeat that for the y values. Well, let me figure out what is the middle of these 2 numbers. So I have to find the average of -20 and 30. So I add those 2 numbers together, divided by 2, and then I simplify. -20 plus 30, I get 10 over 2, and this reduces to 5. So that is the y value of my point. And I can see the midpoint of these 2 given points is 3, 5. And one thing you could do to check to see if your answer makes sense is you could always just do a quick sketch to verify, did I do this correctly? And what you could do is just plot the points -10, -20. So I'll just put -10 here, -20. So -10, -20, that point would be somewhere here. My other point is 16, 30. So 16, 30 will be somewhere here, and let's just say about here. So 1630, right? 16 up 30. And then the answer I got was 3, 5. So 3, 5 would be somewhere here and here. And you can see that that point looks roughly about the middle of these 2. So I can, be more confident that my answer is correct. If I were to plot the point that I got, and let's say it came out to be some point over here, then I would see that that's not the middle of these 2. It's not between. So I would have to go back and check my work. But this looks pretty good, so I'm confident in my answer is correct. So the midpoint of these 2 points is 3, 5.